Breakfast with Cobb Colvin.
Trickstar Radio.
Right then, 11 minutes past 9 here on Trickstar Radio. I'm joined by a very special guest this morning. Frankie Stew is in the building. Thank you for joining us. I know you're a busy guy. I know you've got a lot on, especially talking through like what's going on with like obviously we've been speaking off air a little bit about like the process behind studio and stuff that, which is quite a cool thing to do. And obviously having that extended period of studio time does tend to lead to bangers, and it does tend to lead to the summer you've had, which has been phenomenal by the looks of things. Talk to me about Boundary.
Yeah, it was a good one, man. It's hometown special, so it's the first time we've really had like a run at the festival circuit actually this summer. So it was nice to round it all off with a big hometown one in Brighton.
So where did you like go before that in regards to like festivals?
We done El Dorado Festival. That's how we got booked for Boundary, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and where else did we do? We done Field Day in London actually. That was a pretty special one. That was really cool. Skepta was headlining that.
Oh wow,
that was sick.
So when you're like putting together the kind of like festival lineup, obviously we've spoken before on the show about last time about obviously doing like switch ups and stuff for the show specifically. Yeah. Is it a similar thing with the festivals?
Depending on the vibe of the festival, I think I like to try and suss it out. Obviously, we come as prepared as we can be before, but I like to try and suss out the festival a couple of hours before. Field Day was quite. We played on the Doc Martens stage, and it was fairly intimate. I mean, there was quite a fair few hundred people there, but it was fairly intimate, so we could kind of do the usual set, or kind of just there wasn't too much pressure to just play bangers. But
yeah, of course.
Boundary Festival was a completely different thing. I was just saying to you off mic, we were on just after Andy C, and there was not really a green room or anything, so we were kind of sat there just listening, and it's just crazy bass, drum and bass music, and it's like
it's Andy C as well, like
so the bass guy. So the last thing I wanted to do was go out there and have my first tune, something super chilled, and just see half the crowd.
Oh, no, that'd be the worst thing to watch.
You know, the tent was full, and I was thinking, I'm gonna have to come in with something hard here. So we did, and it was one of my favourite shows I've ever played, to be honest.
I mean, how does it feel kind of going from like doing all kind of obviously starting in Brighton, and then kind of doing the shows around the country, being on a couple of tours as well, and then to finish off like the summer season with like Brighton's biggest festival essentially? How does it feel to kind of it's almost like coming full circle, I suppose? Yeah,
man, for sure. It feels it feels really good. It feels really good. Obviously, we're going to be we missed out Brighton from this year's tour actually to do it next year, because we want to try and do Concord and do it properly, but to round up this year we're doing Boundary Festival. I couldn't ask for anything more, to be honest.
Wicked, man. I mean the reaction that I saw from a lot of people as well, it looked like quite a good one this year in regards to Boundary.
It was.
It seemed like a lot of people. It seemed like a lot of people had a good time. Over the years, it hasn't always had like the most like electrifying reputation, shall we say? Boundary, man. But I think this year it looked a lot more kind of lively from what I saw. Let's move into like what's happening most recently. Then I believe it was last week. I think all the stuff happened for this. The new single, Adult Workers. First of all, where does the name come from?
There's a second in the second verse. I don't know if I can say it on this, but it's what's the bar go like? Yeah, there's a reference to it in the second verse. Yeah. So I just used the professional name for that, and I thought I thought it was quite a good name. Okay. Didn't want to be like provocative in a sense, but it certainly catches your eye when you first see it. You know?
Of course.
And if you've seen the single artwork, goes in tune with that.
Okay, cool. So there is like kind of like a lot of stuff like all kind of wrapped around the same meaning.
Yeah. There's a bit of a theme behind it, especially if you've seen the video.
I was going to say I want to talk about the video, man, because looking at the video, it definitely is one of my favourite videos of the year, without a shadow of a doubt. I think the fact it's the one shot. If you haven't seen the video, please do go and check it out. I believe it's on your YouTube channel, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the one, bro.
And if you haven't seen it, go and check it out. It's one of the nicest, like, crispest looking things I've seen recently. Like, what was the kind of like layout for the video? Was that always the plan for it, or did it kind of happen as it went?
That was always the plan, to be honest. When they got back to us, they were very clear on wanting to shoot the whole thing in one take. But I loved it, man. I thought it was quite made it very cinematic. Yeah. With it all kind of coming backwards, starting off on one person, and then by the end of the video, there's like a whole big 20-man choir, and The settings was really good. Yeah, it was the most fun I've ever had on a shoot, and it's my favourite video we've ever done.
Just a thought, like as it was one take, did it take any longer than normal sets or normal like video sets, or did it take a lot less time just because it was one take, or did you do the one take about 1,000 times?
It was a bit of both. The day was very long in itself, yes, because we had a lot of extras and actors and things like that. Yeah, and they also were getting wet. They were getting soaking wet in when they got dunked underwater by the priest. So the main day was revolved around keeping all the extras sweet, to be honest. Yeah. So we'd done a lot of trial runs and things like that. But once we started shooting, I think the fourth take. Yeah. The fourth take? The one that got used. we got it on the fourth one.
I do always like to hear about stories from like video shoots and stuff. I was just thinking about it now. The amount of times that you'd have to like come out of getting dunked, you'd have to dry off and start again. It's quite an interesting one. I want to look. We're going to jump into the single now because it is an absolute banger. This one is out everywhere now, I believe.
Yes, bro. All platforms.
So is this going to be the last one, last release of the year? Do you think? Is this going to be the last single?
No, we've actually got another single coming at the end of November.
Oh, amazing!
Second single, and then. Getting into album very early next year, but
amazing.
Haven't announced that yet.
Yeah, cool. So we got a little sneaky intro there.
Yeah,
so what's going on? Good stuff. Right, we're going to jump into this one next. This one is Adult Work. It's Frankie Stew and Harvey Gunn. Don't go anywhere. 18 minutes past 9 here on Trickstar Radio.
Waking up Brighton.
Breakfast with Cobb Kovu.